Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Let me welcome back April, a targeted individual from Missouri. So we had her on about probably a month or two, probably 2 months ago, and we
hmm
were talking. You did an interview, and you were telling us about your situation. So, is everything still pretty much the same?
Yeah. So after we did our interview, I started making YouTube videos, and so I've been putting those out here and there. And really, the torture has amped up since then, if I'm being honest. They attack me all day, and now that I've like really watched your videos and connected with other targeted individuals and understand pretty well how this technology works and what remote neural monitoring is. The only time that they can really get my attention is if I'm asleep. Like that's when they attack me the most, is in my sleep,
Yeah.
messing with my dreams and that kind of stuff. But they also attack me at my job. They still love to attack my eyes. It's like they want to make me go cross-eyed. That's the only way I can think to describe it. It's like they make my eyes go blurry when I'm staring at my computer screen and stuff. But to answer your question, yes, it's exactly the same and worse.
Well, it seems to have been getting worse for me too lately. I don't know what's going on with these gang stalkers, but they don't like what we're doing. They definitely don't like what
No.
we're doing, and I'm glad that you and a lot of other TIs are starting to do this as well. I think it's a good thing. But what you just said, it reminded me of something that I want to touch on. They can use broadcasts for a lot of things, and people don't really want to believe that they can have some little broadcast person just standing next to them or whatever that they can't see. Okay, but it's the truth. It's a broadcast, and these gang stalkers that are using broadcast, they can live virtually as the broadcast. And when I think you mentioned what you're talking about before with your eyes, it didn't dawn on me then, but something that happened to me years ago. um, I would be using my camera and they would put a broadcast over the lens and it would completely blur my camera screen. So I wonder
Mm.
if maybe they're not just putting a broadcast right over your eye because it can make things blurry. I know they used to make that they would make my camera blurry, and I would try to wipe it off, but you can't really wipe off a broadcast. So the way I got them to quit doing that is I started talking about how my camera would be blurry, and I'm like, they're on my camera lens with the broadcast, and they're making it blurry, and they stopped doing that. But they did used to
Mm.
do that. I wonder if maybe that's the same situation with you, with your eyes. They could be doing something like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes a certain amount of sense. And I think because I can see the broadcast too. I've heard you talk about that too, where you can see the holograms, you can see the broadcast, and I can too. If I stare at the sky or stare at the wall and they're broadcasting to me, it looks like the Snow Channel. Like all the time, I can see the microwaves, like I can see the broadcast, and so that actually makes sense. If I'm focusing on something and they send a broadcast directly onto my eye, onto my iris or onto, the lens of my eye, that would make sense that it would make it blurry. I bet
Right.
you're right. That probably is what they're doing.
So have you tried to evaporate clouds?
Yes,
Is
yes, and it works.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people have been
Big
saying
fluffy
lately
clouds.
that a lot of people have been like, I tried that and it actually works, and that's what I was telling people. And that's how I started my YouTube channel because I was doing other stuff before then, and then a couple years ago I started my YouTube channel by putting out a video and a bunch of videos about evaporating clouds, and so I've been doing that since the beginning. And I was just staring at the clouds one day and realized that. Um, I can evaporate clouds by looking at them. And so I've been doing it ever since. I actually put out 2 videos of that today, and more targeted people are starting to realize that they can do that too. And I think anybody on remote neural monitoring will be able to do that.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you a question because I put out a video a couple of days ago showing screen sharing and showing some of the photos that I've edited where you can see the holograms and people, the faces and the letters. And I had somebody comment on one of my videos. It was a different video. He commented asking if this is being broadcasted directly into your mind, then how is it that you can capture it in a photograph? And I was like, man, that's a good question. I don't know. So I want to ask you that. Can you talk to that? Explain that?
Well, the broadcast is coming to you, and it could come to your mind, but it's all around you. So, so if a gang stalker is connected to you on neural monitoring, then you will be able to see them just like they could see you. So the broadcast is all around you. It's just like when you turn on your meter, like I think I've got my meter right here somewhere. I don't know. When you turn on your meter, you can put it all around you. And the broadcast is all around you. So it's not
Right.
just on you. You are just the receiver of the broadcast. So it's difficult to know the exact specifics without actually having access to the neural monitoring. But
Right.
for instance, if you could measure the broadcast all around you, then they could pretty much see you from any angle. And I think the highest point of the broadcast, when you move the meter around, if it's like really high at one point, I think that would be like the most high quality point of view that they could have, and they could probably rotate that around. And the thing is, when they're doing that, it's going to be all around you. And it doesn't have to be measurable on the meter. It's going to be all around you all the time. And for whatever reason, it is where you focus. And I'm not sure why that is, but I have a theory on why that is. It's because it's like a subliminal advertisement. It's made for you to see subconsciously, not that you could really see it, but and I mentioned this in some of my videos, that it's like subliminal advertising is like in the old days they would put a single frame in a film would be like popcorn and a drinks, and you'd be at a theater and you wouldn't see that with your eyes, but because it was too fast, but you would see it with your mind. Your subconscious would see it, and it would suggest to you popcorn and some drinks. So you would want to go get a popcorn and a drink all of a sudden. And it's called subliminal advertising, and it's illegal now, but it's something that they used to do. And I believe that the broadcast is designed that way for you to see it, but not realize that you're seeing it, as a form of suggestive mind control.
Yeah, that makes total sense. See, I knew you would be able to explain it in a way that made sense. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
needed to ask you.
I wish I had all the answers, but I know what I know from experience, that the broadcast it's coming to you. Like if you were to take a picture of your skin, you would also see the broadcast on you. It's on you. It's coming to you, and that's another of the big reasons why when you go to sleep, the broadcast is more effective, because right now you're focused on whatever's going on around you and whoever you're talking to, and the functions of an awake human doing whatever we do. Okay, but when you go to sleep and all of those things are not what you're focused on anymore, so your mind is more clear and you receive the broadcast much better, so you're more in tune with it. And that's why they're easily able to manipulate your dreams, because you're receiving the broadcast. So a lot of times when I sleep, there's been times when I sleep and I can see people that are broadcasting to me and like what's going on with them. And sometimes I can remember my dreams and I'll wake up, and have that on, like I'll know, like, okay, I know they were broadcasting to me, because I'm not dreaming about them for no reason like that. So, yeah, they're easily able to mess with your dreams, to inject themselves into your dreams by way of broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, to me, that's harder than the physical torture because I have so little control over it, and I can't counter it if I'm asleep. And now that I understand how it works, I've found myself lucid dreaming, and like the gang stalker that I know, like I know who this person is. I have talked to him in my dreams about it, like, what is the deal with this mindful stuff? Like, you got to get off of this. You got to take me off of it. You know, take my child off of it. And of course, it's not effective. Like, usually I wake up when I start to get that emotionally reactive. But now that I understand the technology, my dreams have started to change where I start to realize, oh, these people they're messing with my dreams. You know, like I'll realize that the gang stalkers are messing with me while I'm asleep. And typically that either leads to them torturing me more or me just waking up naturally. But I mean, I probably get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night. It's not enough. And it's because of this. It's because of the torture and the dreams and the mind control. All it keeps me awake.
Right.
It's awful.
Yeah, I go through the same things. Like last week, I mean, it hasn't happened in the last couple of days, but last week, probably 5 out of the 7 days of the week, I was woken up with being tortured, some kind of broadcast attack, doing something to me, and it infuriates me when I wake up that way, and it's like they're bored or something. It's like they want me to be their entertainment, or they want to do a live stream or something like that, and so they want me to be awake, and it's like, yeah, I don't function very well. I mean, I can do my life 4 hours, but I'm not going to be at my best, and I'm definitely not going to be happy about it. So, you know, I really want 7 or more, 7 to 9 hours. Like, you know, that's what I want. But a lot of times I don't get it because of them.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, man. It's very difficult.
So,
and being a single mom, it's like I only have short periods of time where I get to sleep anyway, you know, so to have that interrupted is like you said, it's infuriating. It's very difficult.
Right. Right. Well, you know, one thing that I noticed is that a lot of people that go through this don't have jobs, and they really don't have their life together, and that makes them a lot less credible. You know, if they're on drugs or they don't have a job, and they're trying to tell people what happens. And when I talk to them, I know that they're for real. I know that this is really happening to them because, you know, when it's happening to you and you talk to other people, you know when they're really going through it, because it's the same situation that we're all dealing with. But, you know, when they don't have a job and they're not keeping their shit together, it's very difficult for people around them to believe them. Okay, and then you have normal people, okay, like me and you and like a couple other people that I talk to that, you know, it's kind of difficult for people to just discount us as crazy because we understand what's going on. We talk about it in a very sensible manner. We come up with evidence, and we try to spread knowledge to other people and help other people, and you know, and we work, and we're not drug addicts and stuff like that. So I know you started a YouTube channel, and has that been like a lot of people reaching out and talking on?
Yeah, it's been a really rewarding part of starting the channel, because I didn't do it for that reason, you know. Like I said in one of my earliest videos, I said, you know, my gang stalkers, their first thing was to tell me with the artificial telepathy, nobody's gonna watch your videos, nobody's gonna like your videos, no one cares what you have to say. So I put in like one of my first videos, I was like, let me be clear, like I don't care about likes, I don't care about that. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because your videos helped me, and if I can help anybody to understand what's happening to them, to keep them from having to go 6 years plus of not understanding what they're going through, that's number one. Number two, to document my situation, to show, like, if all of a sudden I'm dead or something, here's the evidence, and this is what's happening, this is who did it. And I have lots of private videos and stuff too that my family knows about, that if something happens to me. Stuff involving like my kid, you know, videos that show evidence of what's happening to him. Or if this comes to fruition, I have all the documentation that I need. So anyway, that was why I started the channel. But one of the most rewarding things about that has been people commenting and reaching out to me. I've had a couple of TIs that I talked to on the phone, and we've gotten to be friends. It's like the connections of people that understand what's happening to you and that you can be real with. And I mean, all targets probably know that you don't have that very much in life, when you're going through this, nobody understands unless they're doing it.
Yeah, those are all the same things that it's exactly the same. I started out because I wanted to get my story out there and tell everybody, like, this is what's going on, and these people are doing this stuff to me, and I want everybody to know about it. But then come to find out, a lot of other people are going through the same thing. A lot of people didn't understand it, so it helps other people, and then it gets us together. But one of the biggest things is that it's very embarrassing, and it may be of some risk to come out. And I come out with videos talking about people attacking my genitals and my ears and all this stuff that's very difficult to prove, okay? But and it makes me look really insane, and it's embarrassing, and all of these reasons. But the thing is that it's really happening, and it's really happening to a lot more than just me. So the more of us that start coming out and talking about it, and it makes more other people feel comfortable coming on out and talking about it if it's happening to them. So and we're pioneering this thing, and everybody's gonna want to say what's happening to them too once they realize that it's okay to come out and say all of this stuff regardless what people think. There's a lot of us that this is happening to, so you can't call us all crazy.
Right. So that's exactly right. That's how I felt too. It's like there's so many people going through this, and yes, some of it makes us look crazy. Some of the theories that people have come up with, like, I don't want to place judgment because I'm not in their shoes. I'm going through a similar thing being a target, but I'm not in another target's shoes, so I don't want to place judgment. But some of the theories on what is behind the target makes us look even more crazy. Like,
right. Well,
so we have to be careful. But I think it's important for people to talk about what they're going through, because you're right. The more people that talk about it and talk about it coherently, the harder it is to say all those people are nuts, right?
Right. Well,
so we can't all be nuts.
There's a ton of stuff on the internet about all of this, and a lot of people think, oh, well, I found this in this official patent number and all this stuff. You're not going to find any real information out there. It's not even supposed to exist. So obviously there's not, the remote neural monitoring satellite schematic. It's not online for people to find. And there's so much propaganda out there, and people just read stuff on the internet and they believe it. And they're looking for some way to explain what it is that they're going through. So, I can understand. In the beginning here, I was, 3 or 4 years ago, posting stuff about direct energy weapons and the NSA and all of this type of stuff, but of course the NSA knows about it, and NASA puts these satellites in the air and everything else, but they're not gang stalkers, but they definitely know about it. But I completely understand pretty much how a lot of this stuff works, and a lot of other people are starting to understand too that this is broadcast. But you hear some wild stuff, though. You definitely hear some wild stuff.
Yeah, you really do. And, the more I get into the targeted community, the more I find out about that. And another part of my channel is, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. I've had my life radically changed by my faith. So another thing that I like to do on my channel is talk about Scripture and what Scripture says is real and what Scripture says is not real, so not to debunk some of these ideas, but I believe everything in the Bible is true, and that's where we need to get our information when we're looking for facts. So so anyway, I definitely don't pass judgment, but I think that we have to keep our wits about us and go with what makes sense,
Right.
So I want to be a resource for people who don't understand and who are looking for support and looking for maybe a therapeutic way to deal with some of this, because you can't block it, you can't stop it. I've made a couple of videos about all the things I've tried that don't work, because when you're a target, you'll try anything to make it.
I
stop, right?
tried all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I tried tons of stuff. And there's still people trying all kinds of stuff. Maybe somebody will come up with something, but I just, you know, if so many gang stalkers can get access to neural monitoring, then so can we. You know?
Right. I'm smarter than them. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
These people are not intelligent people. So however they came up with the technology, probably they didn't find it on their own. You know, there's a scheme there.
They're passing it around to each other, but they're very careful not to give it to people that may put an end to all of this, like people like me and you. But you know, and they're not going to give it to us. But you know, like you said, we're smarter than they are, and ultimately, it's going to be hard for them to stop us as long as we keep moving in the right direction. And so it's they know it's going to be bad.
Yeah. It is going to be bad.
Yeah, it's going
to be real bad for them.
Yeah,
you know. But I all the stuff that I tried, and I know I've heard you talk in your videos that you've tried a lot of that stuff too. And you know, it makes me angry. Like I see these websites, and even on Amazon, there's stuff where they sell EMF protectors that are like hundreds of dollars, and basically it looks like tinfoil in a picture frame. Like $1,000 for something that's supposed to protect you from these EMF waves. So that kind of stuff makes me angry. I feel like it's propaganda. It's specifically trying to rip off targeted people that are going through this. So
right.
So
well, you know,
I try to talk about those things in videos too.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is really geared towards paranoid people that are worried about like cell phone emitting or something like that. But
that's true.
You know, there's not really much out there that's really geared towards targeting or whatever. But you know, there probably is some way to block it. But the way to block it isn't some material. The way to block it is going to end up being some other force, some other sort of broadcast, or some kind of you know, field that can block their field. You know, it's going to be something more like that. There's not a material that can block it. The broadcast is on us. I mean, it's an EMF, electromagnetic field of Earth. It's everywhere, and the broadcast, that's the infrastructure, and the broadcast is on us, and it's all around us, and it's everywhere. So what are you going to block it from? You know, encapsulate yourself in a thing, and just, you know, and people are like, well, you know, you should build a cage and this and that. I'm not living in no little cage thing like a EMF igloo. I'm not doing that. I mean, I'm not walking around with some weird ass helmet thing on my head, even if they did work, which they don't. So yeah, I mean, there's better solutions.
You're right.
Look, I tried all the weird stuff too, so I'm not gonna make fun of nobody. But you know, I definitely had me a helmet with aluminum foil and all kinds of different stuff. You know, I had this you know, those things that go on your windshield to block the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, to like protect your dash and your seats. Like I had one of those. And I was trying to sleep under it. It was my wave shield, you know. It just doesn't work. Nothing works.
It didn't work either.
Yeah, no, it didn't work.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I used rubber bands with tinfoil just to see if it would work. I've tried grounding, which I thought worked, but the very next day it did nothing. So the first day,
right.
You know, I heard you say before, they just, if it works, it's because they want to make fun of you.
Yeah, they want you to think that it works, you know. So that if you put on a tinfoil helmet, then they might stop for now, you know, to make you think it works, because they love to see you with that shit on your head. But ultimately, they're abusive, and they're gonna start doing it again. So yeah. But yeah. So do you want to tell everybody about your channel or something? Because I'm kind of running low on time.
Okay. Yeah. My YouTube channel is just my first and last name, April Casada, Cassada. There's probably there's at least two April Casadas, but my channel is a picture of me and my son together. And if you read the description, it says something. I forget exactly what it says, but it says something about being targeted all the time.
Some kind of targeted videos will come up. They'll be able to find you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I use the hashtag gang stalkers will not steal my joy. I use that in most of my videos, so you can search by that too. So yeah, check me out. That's kind of where I've posted stuff for now. I've got a really big family, and nobody really knows that I'm making these videos yet. So that's the only social media platform that I'm posting on with this kind of stuff so far until I can explain to my family what's happening and they believe me. Otherwise, I'm not going to start posting it everywhere else.
Right.
Well,
that's
that's me.
I could suggest one thing that you may want to try is like on Facebook and things like on Instagram. I completely made different accounts, and I've got several accounts like EMF Broadcast and Remote Neural Monitoring, and then the same thing with Facebook. I do post all over my Facebook, and I just decided that I was going to go ahead and do like that. And what I ended up doing was deleting a bunch of family members. But also, you could create pages on Facebook, and then so it doesn't really have to be on your page if you wanted to do something like that. But it's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
But
no, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, you guys. Check out April's channel. She's doing targeted videos, and she's going through the same thing that I'm going through. There's more of us every day. So I appreciate you coming back on. It was good talking to you. And as soon as you're ready, I'll do one on your channel.
Yeah, as soon as I can figure out how to do that, I will.
Yeah, I'll help you out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you have a good night.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. I'll talk to you later.
All right, I appreciate it.